Zokutshela ke laphana ikakhulukazi ke asibone ke futhi laphana izama ukusondela laphana Rama asibone ke izolo intsetshana ikene boxini yashaya sadatha isefo wala kahla lalela kusazoba mnandi la lalela kusazoba mnandi lana.
And I think when we are this side as well, it's a goal! Oh!
Batshameka ka re ba setse ko morago la le monate
La re tene ka re bo modiko a batsa ba kgwele ba thula ka tlhogo a tla ba bisetsa go sola tene kgwele go tse mothatso a re bona kgwele go tse khathi na kube yona ke futhi on goal thathe ke manje laphana uthi yalishaya kodwa liyabanjwa manje Vets Junior buya nalo Diamond shine bright like a diamond Sadance Sefo wala
Disky lovers, and welcome to it. Maumnandi umnandi, maiguwe iguwe. It is football on 216. It's the first show, it's the first youth football show that we bring to you to cultivate and to really expose the stars of tomorrow. We'll give you post-match analysis, pre-match analysis, highlights, interviews, and so much more for you to salivate and really get your teeth into what is happening in Gauteng youth football. I say this show is for those that like to watch the game for 90 minutes and then speak about it for 90 hours thereafter. Well, I am Tandom Giaco, your jersey number 10, your pilot in football on 216, and I am alongside Amachita, who think it's TV Iabazi. Let's see if Bamnandi Gomampela Amachita. We begin the show with an introduction of the gents. Start to the right of my side with Lebogang Mahume, and then we'll go all the way this way around. Lebza, start with who you are, what we're doing here, Machita. It's football on 216.
I tandom chako ntala ke lina leki la ka ke Lebogang Mahume ja ka buile ntwana go maweza ke tlhaga go Klerksdorp in the northwest. Ke tlile mo Gauteng ntwana ka go pusha spana wa tsamela ka go pusha spana ke re so ke tlile ka kwano for acting ka feletsa ke le mo bolong. Ke simoloto commentator ko kasi a se khale ke simoloto commentator ko kasi wena ntsala je go thembisa mo ke dira teng gone yana so yeah ke tletse go la dina o ntsala ke.
That's exactly what we're there for, the love of the beautiful game. I'll give you a brief introduction of myself as your number 10. I mean, Lionel Messi funeka khulu. I'm Tandom Giaco. I am a sports commentator. I like to call myself. I commentate rugby, I commentate football, I present athletics, I can commentate athletics too. You name it, I'll commentate it for you is what I like to say. But I'm also a law student pursuing my final year in legal studies, so we'll meet in the courtroom if there's anything weird. But that's me. And yeah, man, we just love the beautiful game. I'll go to Usfiso Gutlem Simang. The man, what dances is safe. Why is it dancing and fanagit?
Stanza akulu fethi sefo wena Thando. Mina igama lami nguSifiso Kuhle nguMelbesting wakamsimangwa. Mina ngithanda ukuyibiza nge-storyteller Joe. Mina ngithanda ukukhuluma izitori, ngithanda ukusha ama stories. So I'm a presenter, radio presenter, ngi-commentator izulu ngaqala eKasi Davidson 1520. Yeah, lapho ngaqala khona. Hence ke mina ibhola seKasi ngithi mawumnandi umnandi.
I might go boy. Mr. Kating Katonga, man, we've enjoyed your commentary so much on Super Sports Schools. The Kating Katong, where did it come from? Where do you come from? Give it to us, man.
Tandom Giaco, thanks, man. Ke itumela go nna le lona mo studio. Like go itumedisa go nna le lona yana re se busy thata go mabaleng. Ka leina ke Orapele Mogaki from Mabiskral ko Rustenburg. Passion for commentary inotlhaga fela le nna. I thought I would play soccer one day, but ka bona hore no I mare ne ke bona hore nako ya ntiegela soccer ke career nyane so kare ere ke bona hore ke se kan keepang next to the football pitch ya na hore okay commentary ka etsa first ever game live TV with Sizwe Mabena, Alexander Stadium, Alfred Maimane Piri game. That was my first ever live TV
with the legend.
With the legendary Sizwe Mabena. I saw commentate Kokasi like Luna Majita. I get to commentary Kokasi. I thought I'd be a radio commentator one day, but then once I got the opportunity on TV, then something else came up there.
Wow. And all brought together by development football, which is something that wherever you go in the world, every single pocket of space, from the Rio de Janeiro in Brazil to Amsterdam in Netherlands, you will find proper developments. We speak about Ajax Amsterdam, we speak about Manchester United, but also here in South Africa, the Gauteng Development League, like the gents have deemed it, we think is easily the best development league in Africa. And so we want to come and bring it to you amongst all of the other football that takes place, of course, on SuperSport Schools. We have the KZN Inland competitions, Bay Hill Premier Cup. So our job here as the gents Namachita is to bring youth football, profile it, send it out there. So when these boys go on and World Cups, we'll say we were here on Football on 216. So we start with one of the most remarkable teams in football development in South Africa. I mean, you cannot speak development football in South Africa without speaking the under-13s of Kaizer Chiefs. Undefeated in almost 2.5 years, invincible last year, winning everything level. What have they managed to do right?
Wa bona ntse la ke fa level of the side phefeni le boys of Kaizer Chiefs ka moggo ba simolotseng ka teng se tlhangwa go fitileng tsela ka gona go bona gore the culture of the club e teng mo basimaneng bale, self confidence e teng, tlhompo e teng mo basimaneng bale. Mohamed Bamji tshwantse re mo lebogeng tsela ja ka moggo a alang ka teng kore ka moggo ba dirang ka tela o fitla go ne tshirena gona go bona ntse la ka o fitla ka moggo ba dumedisang ka teng kore ba na le tlotlo ba fana bale ka jalo fa o tsena go le baleng ke teng mo gona go bona sentle gore okay ka gone tlhompo e teng ha re bona batho mo khola dinao le teng tlhompo a iyo go bolonga gona tlhompo tsela ka go twa mo le baleng wa bona ka jalo o gona go bona gore o phelantsa aga ke ba ka Mohamed Bamji o rata go bua o rapele mogaki gore under 13 wa itulena gore ha o tshameka ngwa go tlang ha o yo under 15 ka jalo la ba ntse ba tla ngwa go ke tlhoba se ntšha fela jaaka maloba ha re ba itse ba tshameki ba fela gona go bona gore 10 out of 10 go fitlhela gone jana go bona le gore ba batla go iboeletsa gape e ba e dirileng ngwa go fitileng.
So they haven't won, they haven't lost a game rather, even in this calendar year, which would mean that you'd have to go all the way until mid-2022, almost 2021, since they lost a game, which is remarkable because we saw Sundowns lose 2 already this season, Orapeling.
Yeah, I think Thando when I lebella go Kaizer Chiefs. Coach Bamji ntho e leng gore wa e bua thata ka the team ya gagwe go gore the scouting team ba scouta basimanyana ba banyane ba ke bona ba irantilo le gore e tseneletse thata cause like Lebza chilo gore the span ya player go under 13 ga se teng le thata le ne coach Bamji wa tlhalosa gore ke tiro e thata tota mare a ke nagana re tshwantse re mo fe credit mo gore to build in such a short time and then o nne le team e consistency so ke tiro entle thata ka coach Bamji.
I mean, I was laughing when Sfiso said it in commentary the one day. He's like, it's almost Builders FC. Development style. They say, come on, it's always bricks and we're laying, right? But they've been able to build very well every single year. And something that they do, obviously, is that they have their 12-year-olds come through while they're still 12 on Mondays, and then they train them. So already by the time they start, they so much more better than all the other teams.
Into kanjalo wena Thando mawubheka laphana ukuthi masebefika laphana lama player aseyazana uyabona into le bengikhuluma ngayo ngephana Roma ukuthi ama player khona mayiqala sisemancane afika ama under 13 ayi team yonke isiyazana so into kanjalo emnandi kakhulu wena Thando.
Sisong zohlala nawe, let's keep with something. Nyazi mfethu scouting uyayithanda and scouting is such a big element of the game too. I mean, many of the boys watching the show, they want to play for the best development in the country. And sometimes these boys get scammed, you know, you go into Facebook, but hey, Chiefs bayakfuna and the Chiefs ayakfuna. How does Chiefs actually go about in getting these proper youngsters that we see that are, I think, the best 12-year-olds I've ever seen play football?
Yabona Thando masikhuluma ngama scouts ayo lapha eKaizer Chiefs namanye ama team nje ekakhulukazi bala ama Sundowns bayaya emakasi mina ke uyazi ngithanda ikasi kakhulu kunentwana laphana abayithatha idlala eKatlehong extension 2 ground obhuqweni baya emakasi so manje inkinga ibala nako wena Thando kune player zoba mnandi ikasi as much as ngiyithanda ikasi zoba mnandi bese kuya ngokuthi ulenzani ke maselifikile ukuthi ulifundise ibhola lasetshanini nebhola sekasi bese liphuma into emnandi kakhulu so baya nasemakasi baya kwindawo eningi I mean mani Chiefs inama players wako Free State ko Thaba Busiwo obomphekhethanga so kusho khona ukuthi bayakwazi ukuthi bahambe into emele sincome le kuma scouts na Thando.
wena go tlatsa sontse o se bua gore ka utlwa gore bolo ya tjaneng I don't think ke bolo ya tjaneng I think bolo o kgona go dlala fo gong le fo gong I mean ko kasi le go tsa le dlala mo sekontiring but I think go go instilla that mindset ya player gore okay now this is different right itse gore go tshameka bolo ya ko kasi tlhele re bona di-tournament tsa ko kasi they are totally different looking mo Motsepe Foundation ntho le yone GDL they totally different but now the thing e tshwanetse o etse go change the mindset ya player gore now go tshameka di-tactics we just no longer playing go khatla defend we need to ga o eliminate the player to go score because right go kasi you can play with the piano and shushan rata but go bofelo di go tswela mosola na
But machita masikhulumeni varge manje ikhona i-difference between ukudlala ekasi udlala ama-tournament the big tournaments ekasi and then manje sowudlala i-GDL is there a change in how you need to go about it or kuyafana usuke etshanini ungena usuke ebhuqini ungena etshanini lebo
wa bona ntsala ke go bua nnete pharologane nna teng e nna teng nna go ya ka nna ke tlina la re mara nna go ya ka nna teng ka gone ko locationeng ke phela ke le ko kasi thando go thembisa ka ba lebelela ba tshameka ba simane mo fatshe ya o tshameka mo graveleng tsala ka go tshwane le ko tlhageng ha go tshwane go tlhelele
utshita lona yena ke uthaya fana uthi kasi utshani nobhuqile fana
next
mina ngihlale ngitshela Thando ngithi obhuqini nasetshanini akufani amakasi kodwa lalela kodwa into engizokuchazela yona lips mawumnandi uthi yami umnandi uzosheshe uyibambe nelokhu yasetshanini lento esho or uvumelana nami kodwa yena ubona ngathi uyangiphikisa ngiyakutshela uvumelana nami siyavumelana siyavumelana yena uyangiphikisa ukuthi iplayer lasekasi uzolibona iplayer limnandi Kamkhelo Mariletsi ubedlala ku spiritual tournament mnandi yini ayenza kangcono lapha notshanini ukuthatha iplayer sekasi olifundise lapho nalapha but mali mnandi iplayer lasekasi awuthi limnandi
well we saw Dlamini of Kaizer Chiefs. I'm sure our team will put together the highlight reel and maybe put it right about here. But they played against SuperSport United and yona ke into nakhona masikhuluma nayo yakutshela ukuthi mina ngisuka ekasi ileli elidlala midfield despite undlula Dlipi some great skill moves really left me breathless there. But while we're on that chat, gents, we're supposed to discuss this towards the end of the segment. But Mascaren Dapo, some of the players that you've enjoyed playing, Fiso Sias Gutwena, Utanda Lasekasi.
Yeah.
Or let's just chat, gents. Who have you enjoyed watching and what have they done nicely that's impressed you?
go fitla ga jana ga ke lebella ko Sundowns ko under 15 tota under 17 kgaogelo monanyane ke le ka bona le leng gore ga jana ga o le lebile la khatlisa ka mogwa tshamekang ka teng o bo lebella lene hamba karabo re mitsa hamba karabo ka gone Mamelodi Sundowns ga go tlhasela ka under 17 ba ile go etsa hamba karabo ga o sa tlhokomele karabo modikwa o tla go tlhagisetsa kotsi so go fitla ga jana kgaogelo monanyane lene le ka bona le la ga Karabo ke bona makawana ba ileng gore ba nkgatlhile thata Karabo o nkgatlhela gore ga tshwere kgwele wa bona gore sengwe le sengwe se tlo diragala le dikgwele tsa gagwe tse dintsi ga ka di bona di felela mo box la 18 a gona gore o tshwara kgwele e be nna gore kgwele ya gagwe ya senyega dikgwele tse dintsi o di tsenya mo box la 18
what's going to use Fitso
mina mfethu ungangivusa ngisho ebusuku uthi ngibukela uKamkhelo Mariletsi blind ungivuse ebusuku uthi ngibukela uDlamini yabona mina ngithanda ama player kanjalo bompocketang angadlali lokubuyela emuva
manje yini nickname yakho uDlamini konje bathi ubani le Soweto
but bambiza ngonzengeleza kumele simnikezele mina ngithanda ama player kanjalo Thando lapha adlala uyabona ukuthi ngikhuluma abantu abadlala lapha enkabeni abakwazi ukuthini beshaya iphasi shaya isefo samse khoneni siyojava
Right, okay. And then if I had to think of players that I've enjoyed, I'll have to think Buhlali Ngwato of SuperSport United, wears at jersey number 11, typical winger, touches the line on the wing, not scared to take a player on and beat him. So I've enjoyed watching him, Buhlali Ngwato.
Naledi Khobe.
o mitsa mang gupile maabana re ya kgwele o mitsa ka leina le kopo nkutlwisa gape gore o mitsa mang
ke felwa ke moya ke bua ka Mfanola Naledi ya masa mphatlatsane nkgoro se Khobe steroids
o bisa later kazelo
wa bona Mfanola o mitse as a left back Naledi Khobe fela ha tshameka mo lentsala ke wa tloga ko left back ile o fetoga go nna ya le ba bitsa mara ke hybrid center back wa gona tsena ka mogare wa gona go a le ko pele Naledi Khobe o tshameka gotlhe ne ke mmotsa mabane ke re okay gore ba go bitsa steroids are ke gona tshameka everywhere Naledi Khobe ke defender o gona tshameka center back o gona go a kopela ya go nosa ka jalo ha ke mmona tshameka le itela ke itse pela ka utla botlhoko ka gonne ne ke mmotsa mabane ke re motho a kae ma go bua le nna ntwana ga re Grootman ke tswa go social ngube block F ke a mmotsa ka re so o ikemiseditse eng ka gone ke a bona ngwaga tsa go di a tsamaya o batla go dira eng a re fit e kaya ba bege mina wa bona so go utlwa that's when I saw gore man that's why late e tshameka so ha tshameka na le dikgoba tshameke le ene o tshamekela setlhopha ka jalo na le dikgobe ke motshameko ke morata
ke nagana gore ditlhopha tse dintsi wana Leipzig with di adoptile that style ya gore ko makawaneng ba banyane ko development teams a gona player o tlo e bonang e tshameka a certain position in nne ka yona ba re ba tshameka mo lebaleng lebella Royce Malaji wa Kaizer Chiefs me ko morago he will play me ko side ke mitsa ka tsang me ko side o tlo dlala o lebelle Mphoketang na phera le Simo Bobo gona nong ba tsere Mphoketang ba mo tsentse ko middle fielding he plays. So I think that's another good thing. The player is kind of like mindset. I'm playing this position. Get to stick to this position. Get in the field and play.
Well, our job as well as custodians of development football in South Africa is to let you know that there's lots of academies too where football is happening and it's alive. There's a stereotype that you can only play development football at Chiefs, at Super Sports, at Sundowns. But there's East Rand Athletic Academy, there's Northwest University Vaal, there's Joburg City, there's Randburg Association Football Club. There's so many teams that are probably feeding these big teams then. So I'm going to go one more round around the table, gents. And I want you to tell me the team that you've enjoyed watching most that is not an academy-associated team. Because we'd be lying to people if we say, no, we just cover Chiefs and Sundowns and SuperSport. There's a team that don't have the highlight yet. So you don't need to explain, maybe one line explaining us Naskatespire. Your other favorite team and why? We'll go with you.
I think ke chebile Resa makgetlo le mantsinyana and ga o tsa o lebella ko Resa gona le ditlhopha tse leng gore Resa e setse di fidile ko PSL re ka ya ko PSL ko ditlhopheng tse di tona ke sa bua ka ditlhopheng tse di ko tlase ga ke bua ka botona ke bua ka position ya mo loko
was done good work.
gore ba dirile di tiro entle thata e ba e dirang kwa le ene o lebella the latest edition ko PSL la Kim Theo ba dire tiro entle thata ka fa Resa ka fa
Fiso?
into bengifuna ukuyichaza leyo mfethu I think nami Resa mfethu because kunentwana lapha
ngeke phela manje sisonke manje sesingazi mina ngiyakhala ngizomela ukhetha enye team dot
no okay
push propaganda lapha sebabukeli
phela singenza sithanda into efanayo kodwa lalela before lapho bengifuna bekunemqondo la kune player kumele libheke number 10 weResa bambiza ngomfukeng kodwa ke asambe sekasi Katoras Hyper Academy but iResa mfethu inswempu
ichazelani
eKaslami amakasi afana ubuye Resa mfethu ngeke
Okay, so the panel has 2 votes to remember Elite Sports Academy. I want to break this now. And I don't have an answer yet, so I'm going to go to Lebu. I'm still thinking, so I'm going to go to Lebu.
Ke bula the book of Leipzig and Wave ke kopana le Katoras Hyper Academy o buile ka kwanong khonne Katlegong Thokoza Fosloras makasi a mararo a ntsala ke go tswa go tseiwa batshameki ba kopangwa so a be lebella sentle ke ne ke ya go Resa le nna fela o bua ka propaganda ke okay ke go Resa ke okay Katoras Hyper Academy ke ene le gore le one o lebella ntsala ke even Sevens Academy ene bitswa ka Seluma Sevens Academy lebelle e mo position 3 gone yana kwa under 13 ka jalo a bona gore go sengwe se se tlang ka tswa go wena wena Thando.
Well, I'm going to go with Randburg Association Football Club. I think they hosted the Randburg Friendship Cup and played in the final against Sundowns. They, I think, top 3 as well in the 17 division. And they'll be having Villarreal come through to their training grounds for a bit of a camp later in the year. So that's what's happening. It's exciting, gents. I need you at home to get excited because football is alive. The possibilities are open. And, well, we move on with the show, right? Don't get too excited. This week we had fixtures starting on Workers' Day, the 1st of May. We were at Marks Park covering the Wits Juniors taking against Tuks. Those are another 2 good academies associated with universities, but not quite university teams. They took on each other, but we'll highlight just some key talking points. Daimani. Sun bright like a diamond. Mr. Producer, I need you to clip this and put it right there. Speak through me about Daimani and his play.
mawubheka ke lapha na Thando into eyenza umuntu mhlambe abebukele uyizwile ivoice yami omunye bangibuzile bathi wazi kanjani uzoshaya lo muntu ngendlela kade lokho edlala ngayo lo yamjida lo yana kade bonisa so nami beku easy for mina mangimcommentatele ukuthi mangibamba ibhola bese ngiqala ngithi shine bright like a diamond bese thi washa so uNtswempu Ntwana uNtswempu kahlahle into engibonile futhi Vest Junior Intswempu lapha phakathi khona umhlanganisi ojes number 50 Vest Junior ibintswempu kakhulu kuleyo mdlalo nathanda
wabona ntsala ka ubua ka Vest Junior ubua ka ene Diamond go motshameki mo le wena Thandwa ke tsumo jersey number 15 viwe fetcha ke mo gene ha ke ba trimitsa ka Jalute mhlega suti tshwantse re mo krelile la gagwe no tshwantse jala re motogela mara le iteleng tsala ke ka mo ga tshamekang ka teng ha tshwara go ile man o na le botitonyana ka mogara mona ka go kasi wa e tshwara Sfiso o ile a rata ba tshameki ba le gore ba tsamaisa kgwele fetcha wa e tsamaisa le ene wa tsamaya
Ball moves, man moves. Ball moves, man moves. So the results on that day ended up being split. So actually, the Gauteng Development League, let me give you a bit of something. There's promotion, relegation, and every single match day, 12 points available for the 4 divisions that play. So 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, 3 points. On that particular day, it ended up being split 6-6. Tuks won 2, Wits won 2. But the under-19 game went 1-0 victory for the Wits Juniors after a goal came from a young man whose name is Zidane. He scored quite a bit of a finish on the edge of the box. And then we moved over on Sunday. We were at Panorama in the West, your favorite place, or Rapeleng Mokhaki. I don't know if it's your favorite because you've been there to trial so many times for your kids or what's wrong, but you love the West so much. What happened in the West yesterday?
Asase West in face too. When I Thando ko Panorama ne ke tshamekile ko Panorama. Season but
so that explains it then.
That explains it why ke rata Panorama ke rata West. Really a good game. Ko thomaga under 17 because that was very interesting.
Can we start at the beginning? Because the beginning is where Lunga Nobela lost for a second time in a row, and I wonder whether that means Chiefs have now won the under 13 league again. What happened in that under 13 game?
Lunga Nobela gona le Mufikela ko Tlepem. The Lunga o changeile 6 players go teaming ya gagwe ya normally I tshameka because ba tshwere ke flu ko Tlepem. So I think Leona ha re bua le after motshameko o buile gore ne ke tlhaela batshameki mme fela ga se gore ke a ipata. I think ba bone game plan ya ka before the game. So o lositse 2-0. The other thing gore they created lots of chances which they didn't convert. So under 13 mo gaming ya Mabane, Sundowns lost 2-0 to Panorama.
Sure. Yeah. Because I watched that game at home studying, right? And I sort of felt that maybe Sundowns would come back, but that's their second loss. And does that mean Mohamed Bamji wins against Fiso? Because now, say in Manchester City, Tina Manje, you want 2 games, it's done. Say by winile. Khohlwa.
mhlawumbe kodwa mfethu masingakhuluma lapha ngoba ngikhuluma noLunga uthe bona uyathemba ukuthi ama player akasazobuya njengoba echaza or ukuthi ama player amaningi abengekho uthola ukuthi lapha uChaka akasadlala iposition yakhe umbonile bese egcine senyamalele kodwa ke into engifuna ukuyibala wena Thando engibonile yabona iPanorama ibine game plan from under 13 ibintswempu iPanorama sivume le nto singayifihli kancane lokho sithi ulunga Panorama ibintswempu and ngiyacabanga ukuthi nanokuthi if ama player akhe bekhona ulunga ibizoba gaya inkinga iPanorama ibintswempu.
Let's carry on with the results with Lebu. How did the other games go?
wabona ntsala ke re kgabaganyetsa ko under 15 re bone e gapa jaanong Sundowns ntsala ke ne le dino e we gapile telo 8 Mamelodi Sundowns ntsala kwa ba itse Lunga Nobela sa itumela re buile le
under 17 ya 8.
Yep.
Under
15 ke 5-1.
Yeah.
Le gone
Because that means that Mokhale hasn't lost now. He hasn't lost.
ga se la tlhego le gotlhelele ke buile le ene coach Lunga Nobela re bole tiro fan royen gore e banna go reng ha le nosa le o manya o itse ba go celebrate ba go tshameka ba go jefa ba shimane ba sa bona ba e come
Get back, let's get
ga ba se itumele ba re no re batla go romela message gore ga re itebale ke batla gore le boele re go tshameka ke development go lofa yes le kana le itumela la dira marona ke re bankanya mindset wa eng wa first team o gopole ra o simole go aga ntsala ke o agele ka moso like o agela under 15 under 17 o agela DStv Premiership o ba ruta tlare gore ba nagane yang ke ka go la bano sa nna bo 8 ke man tiro ke ulo sampana wa mane sampana eme o sampana
Dilo
bua
still wants more. And I'm like, what more can the youngsters do? They've scored 8 goals.
ke re man banna gante go dira ba re no mare batho go ba ruta tla re gore banna ra tshameka ke gane la idumela fela go pole sentle gore a re boele motshameko re tswele pele ke ka go ba nositse ka mo go ba nositseng ka tema bana
Lebsi Kenwave o ka tlogela jang Tsenolo Motau
Ai, ai,
o bua yang ka
ai,
under
ai,
17 ya
ai,
Sundowns
ai, ai,
o bo tlogela
ai,
Tsenolo
ai, ai,
Motau o editse 2 weeks back a tswa go benching a nosa hat-trick re le ka go Clapham maabane o tswile go bankeng ne go setse metsotso e ka nna 20 20 minutes to go
And he came on and scored a hat-trick.
yeah
fa fetsa go tsena o tsene ka nno Tsenolo Motau o korile 71st minute 76th minute 79th minute
Asho mnandi.
Tsenolo Motau.
Wona lelo sifiso ngomphikisa.
stempe mnandi list
He is indeed Mnandi. And then we go on to the under-19 game that saw Panorama take the first points of the 2019 winners, Mamelodi Sundowns. They drew 1-1 in that under-19 game. It was the first time that they dropped points since. We'll see how they're able to come back after this. For you at home, stay tuned. We are still sitting Namachita, but up next is a particular special segment. It's my favorite segment that's coming up. Not going to spoil the surprise. Stay tuned. Disky lovers, welcome back to Football on 216 and my personal favorite segments of the show. It's time for the Super Sub. And boy, oh boy, I tell you what, we've got the big guns rolling in this particular substitution. Double change from the Studio 6 here at the Multi-Choice offices. I am with the real main characters of the Gauteng Development League, the men that make sure that the teams can play, that there's more teams that can play, and that we can see more games on your home of school sports. Vincent Ralichena, who's the Provincial Executive Officer of the Gauteng Football Association, and Muzi Shangashe, the League Coordinator. Gentlemen, I'm so happy to have you at the studio. I'm going to start with Sir Victor and just speak about the growth of the Gauteng Development League. It's grown in size, it's grown in format, more teams, more games. How have you guys managed to do this?
Thanks, and thank for the opportunity for inviting us to be here. Well, the GDL has grown so tremendously, and from the Gauteng Football Association, we are very happy with the growth that this league have experienced, and then we are continuing to grow. We have grown in terms of the number of teams. When we started, there were fewer teams, but now we are talking about 18 teams in this league. And then we have also grown in terms of the supply of the players to the higher leagues. If you check the history of the GDL, there are players that have gone through this passage of GDL. I call it a passage to an elite football being the PSL or the higher leagues. So there are many players that have been produced by this league. You can count the likes of Sipembule, although they are coming from the Free State, but from the Free State, they came here and then they played in our league as super sport players. We have got the likes of your Mfokeng, who is now at Orlando Pirates. There are many more that have been produced by this league, and we are very happy. And then we're also very happy with how the league has been run. The league is run professional, if you can check. There are a number of improvements that we have came with, and then we also want to take this opportunity to thank the teams because they are cooperating, they are working with us, and then with such the cooperation that we are receiving from the teams, obviously without adopting the motto of Mamelodi Sundowns, the sky is going to be the limit on us.
Yeah. Sure. I'm going to come to Mr. Muzi Shangashe now, who we've seen extensively then. You come to the games, he's the guy that's there with the gazebo doing the work on the ground. There's been calls then, of course, on social media of, yes, this product is good and it's working proper in Gauteng, but what about spreading now the Gauteng Development League to the Western Cape, to KZN? Is there a possibility to do that? Sometimes our commentators speak Uguti, some teams from other provinces want to come and play in Gauteng. What's your take?
Look at Tando. Look, for us, our core focus is within the Gauteng province, as we call the Gauteng Football Association. So our key is to go within the Gauteng Football Association, but surely every province, it can look at it and learn from it, and we're willing to give them the blueprint, how it can be done, so that every province can have it. That's true. Every province where I go to, they always ask me about GDL, and I say, look, it's there for you guys to do it. Maybe Safa National will also push it more, as we're pushing hard to make sure that we set a standard, and everyone's looking forward to it. So we hope the province will do it.
So, so Victor, the blueprint is there, right? And like we said, it started a couple of years ago, 14 games, 17 games, now a 38 match week season. What is that blueprint is our question here in studio. What's the blueprint? How were you able to get so many teams, get so many games? I mean, it's like a full-on league. The PSL doesn't have a 38 match week. It's only, you have to look to England, the Premier League. That's where you'll see 38 games. So,
well, I believe it's the product that we have created. And then, like I said before, we don't want even to take the credit alone. The teams, these teams those clubs that we started with, we worked together and then we created a product. And then once you have created a product, then you are then put in a position that you are able to sell that product. That's how it attracted so many interest from the teams, even from the young boys in the townships, the young boys in the rural areas. They watch this league and then they want to become part of it.
I'm going to come to Muzi for the last question in this segment. Muzi, what has the television coverage meant for the Gauteng Development League? We know we started broadcasting it full stream last year. It's been almost a year now around the sun. What's that meant?
No, it means a lot. It also allows us to profile our players better. Now you can compare European player Messi when he was 13. Now you also have a blueprint of Sabonga Mapena, for example. We've coached him when he was still playing the School of Excellence in the GDL, and now he's the first team. So now we have something that we can look up and say we got profile. 1. 2, with this thing, we believe in terms of the financial values. It will help the clubs also, because now we can attract sponsors from the association's perspective, and also through the teams. And also, if you look at our numbers, the view from last season, it means a lot. It tells that the product is good and everyone is willing to support. So with this thing being live on TV, one thing that we don't talk about much in GDL is that we always have 100-something set of referees to the games. So it's job creation. That's another thing that we look into. 2, you look at the numbers of commentators that they come through.
Yep.
You look at Tuleuza, he came and knocked when we were playing a tournament at Panorama. And then you look at him now.
He's a
superstar, you know. So he created those things. That's what we're looking for.
Well, it builds, it grows, it develops the Gauteng Development League. And so I think it will continue doing that. So we thank the gentlemen here today, firstly for their time and ultimately for their commitment in building the developments of South Africa. We move on, and the next segment is coming up after a short break. But remember, Friday Night Lights continues on your home of school sports. Catch the hockey that you care about the most every single Friday, noma ganjani. But for now, let's take a careful elincane, siyachike round in. Welcome back to it, Disky lovers. We've moved from one special segment to another. Call it a triple change here in the studio. Well, we have a special guest this time, under-19 coach of Remember Elite Sports Academy, holder of a CAFC license, Coach Coscarino, who will be a regular feature of our show here on Football on 216. Feels a bit like I'm in Italy when I say your name, Coscarino, Coach. But you guys are changing the game, Coach. That's why we've brought you here. That's why you're part of our team with your performance matrix that you're doing at Remember Elite Sports Academy. Maybe first tell us what the matrix is, how you're using it, and then we'll get to Banel.
Okay, thanks a lot, Tando, man. First of all, it's the Brazilian name, ne?
What's a Brazilian?
Brazilian
Rio.
No, yeah. Look, man, the performance matrix that we have implemented in the academy is basically to track the statistics that the players give us. So what we do is we track their performance, and then with regards to how they perform and what we are expecting from them in the future, because we can even predict as to what kind of performances are we expecting from these boys. So we're trying to get to the level whereby we want to track their performance live when they're playing, so to get real-time data. And with this real-time data, it helps us to actually get our lineups, prepare for our training sessions, and develop a player holistically.
Hey, coach, ke ka re ke a latlheganyana. So ha ke go tlo bua sentle o tlo go dile ke ma o tlo go nnang fatshe o tlo go seka metshameko ha ntse go tshamekiwa.
So does the coach count while coaching? Like, what does the coach do? Yeah,
Yeah, sure. So basically what the coach does is to definitely count. Maybe, for instance, if you're looking at passes, you count how many passes your player is doing. You count how many tackles is he committing on, and you basically check every stat that you want to check, and you do it firsthand, because the nicest thing about it is that you don't get discrepancies whereby you get a glitch from a technological device. But since you are doing it firsthand and manually, it sort of like gives you a highlight as to how's this player performing. You can even get an insight on whether to field him or not in the next coming game.
Show us, coach. You've told us a lot. Show us. We're speaking about Tubanele Khatebe in this particular performance analysis for the first time. Take us through it, man.
Sure. So what I'm going to analyze about Ubanele is that he's a very interesting player, but first and foremost, he's very ambitious from Kalabucha in Villiers in the Free State. So we scouted him from there, and then we invited him to come through to the academy for trials, and then we were happy with him. So his role model is Lionel Messi, like yourself.
Number 10.
Yeah. So basically, Banele's stats are fascinating because he is a very attacking player, but since we are a pressing team, so I also highlight on some of his defensive attributes. So in what we're trying to get from him is that he's played 7 games and missed only 1. And what he has done is his short pass efficiency is very, very great. He is a good short passer, but he can also pass the ball long. So the backward passes compared to the forward passes also, that rate, it gives you an insight as to what kind of player are we dealing with here. So he has about 182 passes in that 7 games. Oof. Forward passes only. And then his rate, so it sits just under 70%. So as a coach, you can set a benchmark to say that, okay, if I'm looking at a player who's attacking, more like camp position, playing on a 10, I'm looking for him to actually play more dangerous passes. And he creates chances. And his chances created in those 7 games are 46 chances. Oof. And when you also go into average per game, basically he does 12 passes backwards and then 26 passes forward. And then his total passes attempted per game is just under 40. And we're talking about an 18-year-old here, right? So then his long passes are also fascinating because he completes 50% of his attempted long passes. So it also shows you that he's also a kind of player that can play the ball diagonally or short pass. Another thing, his dribbling efficiency is also fascinating because he's 76%. His percentile sits on 76%. Comparing to his attempts, he completes 76% of what he attempts. So these numbers, like I said before, Tando, that numbers don't lie. The numbers tell you that this is a kind of player that you're dealing with. And when you're comparing these numbers to your elite players, more especially in the Premier League or wherever you go, you get players like your Virgil van Dijks. Yeah. They sort of like have this kind of matrix, and you can tell that if we use these matrix and we can get quality from our GDL.
Yo, coach ke le nna ma ke a utlwa gore wa tsamaya ka yone kore go e tlhatlhamolla jaanong yaka o le mokatisi o le mo bench mfale ne ke kopa go botsa gore yaka o ntse o bala yana ha e tlo go sitisanyana le wena gore o kgone go lebelela match as a whole ka gone o lebelela motshameki mongwe le mongwe a kere yana ga o ntse o bala yana ha e tlo go disturbanyana ha o ntse o ntsha di-instruction mo fielding.
Look, the matrix most definitely is moving forward, and we are definitely enhancing it. So our enhancements would give us an advantage because it will give us real-time data as the players are playing there. And let's say, for instance, 15 minutes in, you see that Banele is not performing as he is supposed to be performing, right? And he's not even passing efficiently. So the other coach, your assistant coach or your analyst can tell you that Banele is underperforming, coach. So he has attempted 13 passes and only completed less than 10% or less than 20% of his passes. Now you can relay that instruction into the field to say that, Banele, what's happening? Why are you comfortable? What you know what I mean? Yeah. So if you get such real-time data, I believe that can change the game completely.
But coach, then my question to you will be, how accurate is it then? Because like Leo says, you're sitting there, you're coaching, your mind is in a lot of places at the moment. So how can we be sure that his dribbling is really 76%?
So like I'm saying, we're busy trying sort of like make it better. Right now, we do not have real-time data, but after games, that's where we sit and analyze each and every game. But when we have real-time data, we will be using apps to actually enhance the performance matrix to give us the data that we require, because with applications nowadays, there's little room for complacency there. So you will get the data that is of good quality.
Sure. Coach, ke utlwa o bua ka mokatisi ka utlwa ka mogho e banka teng kore wa e aena kore o itse motshetsolo kore wa tlhagisa mme ke a bona gore motshameki wa maloba yo le gore tshameka SuperSport United o kgonne gore a khatle ke bua ka ene Mbappe a kgonne gore a khatle coach Gavin Hunt ha o tlhaga ko resa jana o bona motshameki yo le gore o tswa mo diatleng tsa gago a khatla coach Gavin Hunt yo le gore a go bonolo go mo khatla o ikutlwa yang as resa.
Look, Lebuman, Resa is very proud, and we feel like we are moving into the right direction. And looking at Lucky is a good boy, and we have benchmarked this matrix. Using it has given us a highlight to say that we can even produce more and even better players. But he's a monster, and impressing a person like Gavin. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And having Lucky to start matches, it definitely pushes us to say that we are doing something, right? And this is more like a start of good, something that's very good. So these players are also motivated, and give props to the chairman, Tolani Matumbo. He has definitely enhanced the academy in such a way that he has got a very, very young team who is very ambitious. And if you have people that are working with you and that are very ambitious, you tend to get more productivity out of them. You get it. So Lucky, unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to coach him, but my colleagues, most definitely, they deserve the props because they've worked so hard with the boy, and the boy is definitely moving mountains now.
Coach, just as a last question before we conclude the segment, we have about a minute left of time. How important then has the SuperSport Schools app been in tracking some of those performances that you speak of? We know that we have our AI cams at every single one of the GDL games every weekend. So how important has that function been?
Look, as an analyst, you can tell that collecting data is very, very difficult. And you cannot just collect data by a naked eye. But having SuperSport schools assisting us in terms of getting these games live and streaming them, so it definitely gives us that foothold to say that now we have a tool we can use to enhance our players' development, but we're not only enhancing it, we're also showcasing it in such a way that it attracts masses. You get it? So this helps us a lot, and most definitely it's going beyond.
Well,
Coach Koska, we thank you so much for your time here on Football on 216. Hey man, we'll be back again next week, and hopefully you have another bright youngster for us that we can really track their performance and see how they're doing. But until next week, Mfethu, we thank you for your time. We go to our last segment then here on Football on 216, and I bring my whole team back. So how the game works here, we have rolling subs. I've changed it a bit now. I'm bringing my starting 15 back on. For you at home, stay tuned. We'll be back now. Okay, just from the thank you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, so Yenza yeah. Just a thank you. Yeah, just a thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Okay. Coach Koska, thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again next weekend. All the best for the fixture that you have this weekend. We know you'll be off to prep for that. So bona weer nog next week, Coach. Now we move on to our segments, and well, here on Football on 216, we operate with our own rules, rolling subs. So I've changed my starting 11. I'm bringing my starting 11 back in. Ngifuna 15 wam manusfiso azoshikisha lana ahlokoloze kahle. So for you at home, I urge you to stay tuned. A few more minutes of Football on 216. Siyazwakala.
The sport you care about most. Get the most out of your SuperSport Schools app today. Now you can cast live content from your app to your smart TV at home. Ensure that your device is on the same network as your smart TV. Use the search tool to find the event that you're looking for. Then hit the casting icon at the top of your screen and you're good to go. So if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Download the SuperSport Schools app today for the best in school sport action.
Welcome back to It's Football on 216. More exciting app functionality updates then. You can now officially cast your games from your smartphone onto your smart TV simply by using that icon in the top right screen and enjoy in high definition lebza.
HD po.
Kamnandi. And we also continue with Friday Night Lights on SuperSport Schools. Catch the hockey front action that you care about the most. It's been moving around the country. I've enjoyed watching St. Mary's Waverley. Hope you've enjoyed the action too. But we conclude with our first inaugural episode, Namachita. And the first thing that's on the agenda is to decide the goal of the week. Few nominations around the table. Let's go. Amachita Tini. My take is Daimani Vich Juniors.
When Tando Kiboni Golung Winka Mabani, Yaha Mpose Koto, Catalan Sanda, Catalan Panorama, Kinwinka Tata, why get a Kinwinka, it look him free kicking. They have defended the free kick successfully, and then he struck.
Let's go. Other takes. Who's else is putting something on the table? Daiman. Lebu, what's your take?
Tsenelo Motau. Banserito Kuntle, Simpium Londo, Bubezi, Patinya Tenelo, Aquadisa, hat-trick, ya Bubedi, Catatelano, Atoko Banki. So Nagatamal Tenelo Motau like.
Well, you heard our experts take in that segment too, Coach Koska of Remember Elite Sports Academy. You know what his goal take already is. So go over to our SuperSport Schools WhatsApp channel as well as our Twitter pages to vote for your favorite Kating Katong moments of that week. More Kating Katong moments coming up in this week, isn't it, gents? We have a fixture this weekend, Sunday. We head to, the venue not confirmed yet, but TS Galaxy SuperSport United. How do we see that one faring? I was happy to see SuperSports under 15s finally find form again. They were successful in the weekend in their endeavors, but they come up against a Galaxy team that's quite good. What are we feeling about this weekend?
When I think it's a good fixture, TLS Galaxy le Super Sport United, but I'm a bit worried ka TS Galaxy because of their situation in the training fields for their development teams. They really struggling ka the fields, and that can mentally go into the players' mind as well. It can affect
but bajwayele eBhuqwini mo so manje usuke eBhuqwini manje uzokhalela ukuthi
compare Bhuqwini le Megawatt Park. Super Sport ha go isa ko Kapeteng. Megawatt Park ke carpet. If it's a Super Sport we isa go Sundown High School. Fiso nampontsha mabana hore when you go Sundown High School, when you leave the grass go tswa Mhlabati. So I don't think TS Galaxy can win just because Batloetsi the field. If they take in Super Sport, go Sundown. Habaka ba isa George Leah Park or Baba isa Megawatt Park, then I see Super Sport coming out victorious on this one.
But gents, is that type of stuff important then? I mean, Ora seems to think that it's important what surface the youngsters play on. La match dasuke kasi mfethu.
Yeah. Mina mfethu ngicabanga kwami ne le ayibalekile but masibuka nje iGDL Super Sport United is a winner le game but le ukuthi udlala kuphi ujima kuphi ngicabanga ukuthi ayibalekile le nto leyo and futhi iyakwenza nawe ngomqondo ukuthi uyakwazi unama skills ongashawa kumuntu ojima etshanini wena ujima ebhuqweni yabona but Super Sport United ayimfethu ayishimfethu
ka le tlo go makalo ka TS Galaxy bana ke bona ka le tlo le makatsa TS Galaxy ka gone khale re sa ibone TS Galaxy Spartans ke a bona ba tshameka ba jile Sundowns nice under 13 fela TS Galaxy bana skela ek balla kontle TS Galaxy ke ba tlhoga ka motafoleng gore ya go tla ka sengwe la ile gore ga e gape e kana le kalakanya dino ntsela ke ya tswa ka 1 point ngene nosi fela lebelang TS Galaxy na ke ha ke gane Spartans ba tshameka ba dlala matatantsa fela gone anong TS Galaxy o buile sengwe o re ga go tsamaege sentle ga bana go ba tshamekelang teng fela seo ga ke gane sa go affect le no le motshameki motlhong gore itse keng go ntse yana go diragalang fela tshameko ya gago yona o ka stika mo go yona ntse lake le tlo go makatswa ke TS Galaxy.
Well, you're right about TS Galaxy. I'm going to turn the page of my iPad here quickly. These are our iPads, guys, right? And TS Galaxy, in terms of the under-19, they're sitting in position 3, gents, as a matter of fact. So you go into that head-to-head, especially that under-19 game where the margins are so much finer, the subplots are so much more intense, and you think maybe it does favor Galaxy.
Yeah, dipalopalo tsone di a bua gore TS Galaxy e ka iphitlhela jalo e fentse motshameko mare go ya ka leitlhonyana le lepotlana la me la kgola dinao ke bona Super Sport e tlotla ka yona.
Let's go with some concluding remarks for this particular segment because we've built it up. Some other particular fixtures that I'm excited for. Kaizer Chiefs will be playing against the Panorama at the Village. That should also be good. And all the other games are available for you on the Super Sports Schools app. What can the viewers look forward to from the show and from the GDL going forward, gents, as we conclude our episode 1? What can the youngster watching this at home and his dad and maybe the coach and the granny and the dog, what can they look forward to? What can they look forward to, gents?
Mnandi moment. Mnandi. Ba shapa shibo ba kwatile ba simane. O bona go monate no ene ke ratela eng ha ba tribula ba ya kopile. Ha ba tribula ba ema ba tsenga mo durupeng ba jive ba kopile ka jalo monate mo monate thupa fela
Lo baby o rapeleng what can they expect? Tell me
Cutting carton. They can expect the cutting carton tse dintsi go Gauteng Development League ke cutting carton fela le tsegare lotle dino mare se ke batla ba iketsetse sone. Do yourself a favor ga o le mogedi go gae attend one GDL game o tla fetoga monagano.
Sifiso mina into engathi ukuthi bayibukele wena Thando ukuhlangana kwamabhola manje iGDL ihlanganisa ibhola sekasi yahlanganisa ibhola lasetshanini lapho babheke ukuthi ubani omnandi kahle.
I mean, that's our thing. We are the commissioners of Ubumnandi and we're on the search, we're on the hunt in Gauteng and even broader South Africa to find out who is the Mnandiest of them all. Perhaps it's you sitting and watching this at home and you don't have a team yet. Well, I am here to tell you, these 4 gentlemen here to tell you, go out, pursue your dream, and we'll be commentating for you soon on your home of school sports. That's it then for our episode number 1 from Jay-Z number 10, the Lionel Messi of the group, Thando Mchiako. We are signing out. We can't wait to see you. Catch us on SuperSport 216 this coming Sunday for TS Galaxy versus SuperSport for United. But until such a time, salute.
Is going to be an exciting couple of days of hockey here. Wow, that is fantastic stuff here from the home side. You can just hear it in the background, the supporters
superbly taken. A slip flick.
Right, stop is good. Kumalo with the flick, and they've taken it in the dying minutes of the game. With a rocket of a flick there.
We have been treated to flicking display tonight.
Friday Night Lights, brought to you by Take A Lot. Watch hockey, the sport you care about the most, every Friday on DSTV channel 216 and the Super Sports Schools app. Visit takealot.com, the official stockist of Replica South Africa apparel. Don't miss it on the action. Shop now and light up your Friday nights.
Ara bona kgoleke ya go tsena kae ke o rapete tiro. Ara bona tiro. O batla phata tiro. A ba romela ko pele. Jaka bona tlhaselo ke ba Sundowns. Go letlile go nna kotsi. Keeper ga yo. Go le kotsi. Bona.